Thank you for joining me for today's tutorial for the Rasta Romper. The supplies that you will need for this project are really any number of colors that you desire, but the pattern 1 to 4, but you can easily adjust more colors if you would like for the rows of half double crochet and your stripes along the romper. We will be using a 3mm crochet hook for our romper and a 4mm crochet hook for our hat. You're going to need some scissors and a needle. And for your gauge swatch, you are going to want 24 stitches and 11 rows to equal a 4x4 square. So if you need a size up or down your hook to get your measurements correct for proper sizing, then you can do that. Although this romper is extremely easy as long as you have your child by your side or the child nearby to measure. You can easily adjust length, width, and all of that stuff by adding stitches and rows. So it's a quite simple pattern. Thank you for joining me today. Let's get started. So we will get started by working on our pant leg, and you are going to work a slip knot and then make a chain of 7. And then we are going to do our ribbing at the bottom of our leg. So we're going to be doing slip stitches. And so into the very first chain from your hook, you're going to work a slip stitch, and we're just going to work 6 slip stitches into our chain. Sorry, I'm kind of shaky. I've only had coffee. Once you get your 6 slip stitches, and chain 1 and turn, and now we're going to begin working just into the back loop only. And so you're just going to work 6 slip stitches into the back loop only for rounds 1 all the way up through round 49. So you'll do 49 rows of these 6 slip stitches, 6 slip stitches, and then chain 1 and turn, and work your 6 slip stitches. Woo, say that 6 times fast, into the back loop only for 49 rows. And then I will meet you back here. I just want to show you something before I turn off my camera. Oh, look what you found, baby girl. So you just want to make sure this very last slip stitch can get hidden under your chain. So you just always want to make sure you're counting. Make sure you have 6. Don't miss that last little slip stitch because it can get hidden. And you want to slip stitch on the loose side because you'll see they end up getting a little bit tricky to get into. This is probably my least favorite stitch pattern. Just a bunch of slip stitches. It just gets so tight. So try to keep it loose, as loose as you can. And just be patient because it does take some time, but it is so worth it because it makes such a nice little stretchy ribbing along the leg. It's so much more comfortable and it looks so nice than just doing single crochet into the back loop only. So once again, this number 6, this 6th little slip stitch is really hiding down in here, and so you really gotta kind of move your chain your little chain and get down into that back loop of that last slip stitch. So don't miss that last one. Work your slip stitches through round 49, and I gotta get my toddler off the table. I'll meet you back here at round 49. Okay, so once you have worked 49 rows of your slip stitch, then we will chain 1 And now we are going to connect these and start working in the round. Connect our little pant leg, so into the back loop only on this one that you're working on, and then straight just into our original working chain. We will start slip stitching these together, so 6 slip stitch together. Once you do your 6 slip stitch together, chain 1, and we're just going to flip this so that we have our little seam on the inside, and I'm just going to single crochet right over my little strand, my original strand here, rather than weaving it in later. And around our cuff here we are going to work we're going to work 40 single crochet, and we have 50 rows of our slip stitch, and we're only going to work 40 single crochet, and so I don't bother counting my rows or anything like that. I just want to make sure that I am getting about 20 stitches, getting my first 20 stitches in this first half, and then the second 20 stitches into the second half. I'm not really paying specific attention to where I'm putting them. I'm just trying to go equally across. So 1, 2, 3. So just work your way around, and you're going to need to end up skipping a few rows, 9 total, but I'm not really paying particular attention to where I'm skipping. 1, 2, 3, 4, and just trying to get 40 single crochet around this first row. Hi. Oops. So once you get to 20, you just want to make sure you're about halfway around, and then just continue to work along. I single crocheted 2 together at the end there because I had 1 extra stitch to get my 40. So just do whatever you need to get it to work to 40 stitches. You want 40 single crochet for round 1, and then chain 2 and turn. And then for round 2, we will just be working. Your chain 2 does not count as a stitch, so you'll work your first single crochet right back into that same stitch, or I'm sorry, double crochet right back into that stitch, and then work 40 double crochet around for both rounds 2 and round number 3. And then I'll meet you back here at the end of round number 3. So for rounds 2 and 3, you are just working 40 double crochet, 1 double crochet into each of your single crochet stitches below. And then for round 3, you'll just work 1 double crochet on top of each double crochet. So for rounds 2 and 3 for the pant leg, it is 40 double crochet around, and you will chain 2 and turn at the end of each round. I'll meet you back here at the end of round 3. Alright, once you finish round 2 of your double crochet, then you will slip stitch into that first double crochet, but you're not going to complete your slip stitch. Once you have your 2 loops on your hook, drop that to the side. We are going to go ahead and work our little Rasta stripes. And so starting with green, and you can use any color that you want here. You don't have to use the Rasta colors. We're going to pull up a loop to finish that slip stitch, and then chain 1. For any half double crochet round on this pattern, we will not be turning. So anytime you're working a half double crochet round or into a half double crochet round, you will not turn your work. So for this round, we're going to continue working with the right side facing out, and we are going to work 40 half double crochet. So just work 40 half double crochet, 1 half double crochet into each stitch around, and I will meet you at the end of round 4. Once you've worked your 40 half double crochet, go ahead and slip stitch right back into this first one to close your round, but we will not complete our slip stitch. Once again, we are going to change to our next color, and I am not going to fasten this off yet because for this we are doing 2 sets of each color, and actually 3 sets of the green, so we will not fasten that off just yet. Just leave it off to the side and pull in your next color. Now, I did not have a lightweight yarn in yellow, so I am using this number 3. I guess it's still a lightweight, but this is a number 3 instead of a number 1, and that is fine. You will be able to work your pattern up just the same. You can, for these little stripes, if you need to, I wouldn't go thicker than a number 3. You want to still be pretty fine, but it's okay if you're not completely matching up here. So you'll just pull up a loop with that new color, go ahead and chain 1, and once again, we are not turning for a half double crochet round. And whenever we are working into a half double crochet round, we are not going to be working into our regular stitch. We are going to be working into the back loop. So you have your front loop. Well, I'm sorry, we're going to be working into the rear loop. So we have our front loop, our back loop, and then if you turn your stitch, then you can see there's another loop back there. So we have our front, our back, and then you turn your stitch, and there is a third rear loop, and that is what we're going to be working into for our half double crochet whenever we're working into that. I'm going to pull these to the side so I can find that stitch over here, yarn over, and then this very first one can be hard to find because it's hiding right behind your little strands. That's just my back loop. So I'm not back far enough. I'm going to get back behind our back loop. There we go. And then you'll just work your half double crochet into the rear loop. So you want to be going back behind your stitch and then pick up this rear loop back here. Insert your hook through that rear loop and then do your half double crochet through there. So I'm going to go ahead and demonstrate for this entire round, or at least a few stitches. We're not working into our regular stitch. Turn over, get to this rear loop, and work your half double crochet. So you're just going to work one half double crochet, 40 half double crochet, all the way around into the rear loop. Let's see, I haven't been counting. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. All right, so once you have your 40 half double crochet, then you will slip stitch back into your first whole stitch. You're going to slip stitch in through the whole stitch, not into that back loop. And then you will pull in your next color. So you will just rotate each of these half double crochet rounds exactly the same. You're going to pull in your new color, chain one, and then begin working your rear loop half double crochet. And 40 rear loop half double crochet all the way around for rounds, let's see, 4 through 10, and then you're going to change color with each round according to the colors that you want. And so you'll just go ahead and work that, your little half double crochet stripes for your little Rasta stripes, working 1 half double crochet into each stitch of the rear loop for each round, and I will meet you back here at the end of round 10 once we get our colored stripes in, so I can show you how to get back to your main romper color. All right, so at the at the end of round 10, we'll pull back our main romper color as we complete our slip stitch to close round 10. And then you'll chain 2 and we're back to our double crochet stitch, but we're working into a half double crochet round. So once again, we will not be turning our work this round, and we are going to continue working into the rear loop on this half double crochet round. But we will do, but instead of half double crochet into our rear loop, we are working double crochet. This first rear loop is always so hard for me to get. So now for round 11, we need to increase to 46 stitches. So we are going to be working into the rear loop again, and you're going to do 6 double crochet followed by an increase, and we're going to do that almost all the way around. So you'll do your 6 double crochet followed by an increase, and just repeat that all the way around, although we will not be doing we'll be finishing with 6 single crochet or 6 double crochet and not another increase, I believe. See how this works out, but it's 6 double crochet followed by an increase, then 6 double crochet followed by an increase, and just continue to repeat that. And we will be ending this round with 46 stitches. 43, 44, and one more increase, 45 and 46. So you do your last increase 1 stitch early. So you just want to make sure you're ending with 46 stitches. Slip stitch back into that double crochet, chain 2, and now we will begin turning our work once again. And the chain 2 again does not count as a double crochet, and so you're going to work 46 double crochet all the way around for rounds 12 all the way through. Let's see, we have 15 rounds, so 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 21, 22, 23, 24, 25, 26. For rounds 12 all the way through 26, you will just be working 46 double crochet, 1 double crochet into each stitch, chain 2 and turn. When you slip stitch at the end of your round, you will chain 2 and turn. We're back to turning. So rounds 12 through 26 are 46 double crochet. So I will meet you back here at the end of round 26. All right, so your legs should each measure about 8 inches in length with your 15 rounds for size 6 month. And once you have, once you're up to, what is it? Once you have finished round 26, then we are going to connect. So this second leg you do not want to fasten off. We are going to come right into our other seam, right into that first stitch, and we are going to slip stitch our legs together, chain 2, and then you're going to work your first double crochet right back into that stitch, and then go ahead and work 46 double crochet, and I'll meet you back on the other side to show you how to cross over at the crotch. Alright, once you've worked your normal 46 double crochet around that pant leg and you reach your slip stitch here, we're going to work a double crochet into that slip stitch. And then continue to the other pant leg. And work your 46 double crochet around there. And then we'll do the exact same thing before you close and slip stitch and close your round. You're going to work one last double crochet, so you'll have 2 extra double crochet and you will finish this. Okay, so once you've worked your 46 double crochet around your pant leg, we want to make sure we don't end up with any gaps in our crotch, and so I am going to work an extra double crochet into, actually I'm gonna do a double crochet 2 together into, I'm doubling up that one because it gave me a little gap, and then right into this slip stitch we're going to work another one and double crochet 2 together. And then we're going to double crochet 2 together again right across this slip stitch. Just going to get right into the middle of that slip stitch and double crochet 2 together, go right into the first stitch of your other pant leg. Okay, that way we end up with just only 1 extra stitch here, and you'll end up doing that again on the other side. Let me work my way over there and I'll demonstrate that again. Okay, so let's see if we have to do any double crochet 2 together. Let's see if it looks like there's any gaps or not. So yeah, I'm just going to do one final double crochet 2 together right here at the end, putting one more into the stitch I just worked, one more into the slip stitch, and you will finish this first round of the bodice with 94 double crochet. And if for some reason you were off, you can always do 1 increase or 1 decrease on your next round. You really just want to make sure you don't have gaps in your crotch, end up with any big holes. So then you'll chain 2 and turn, and we're going to continue to work our bodice up to round 14. So you have 94 double crochet, and then slip stitch, chain 2 and turn at the end of each round, and I'll meet you back here at the end of round 14. Little tip for me to throw in before all the rounds. Whenever I am doing, since your chain 2 does not count as a stitch, you'll often see chain 2, it doesn't count as a stitch, work your first double crochet right back into that same stitch. But you can see it's pretty tight right after that on the front end of that stitch when you turn, or the back end I guess. And so I don't do my first double crochet right back into that same stitch. Start in the next stitch, and then I end up throwing in that first back into the same stitch at the very end. So it comes in behind it where there's more space, because you can see there's much more space here than there is up here to throw that last double crochet. So instead of having a gap here and it kind of crowded here, I wait until the very end, and then when working that last double crochet back into that first stitch, and then close off your round. This is the end of round 14, and so this is how far we will carry our body until we start our color changes again, and then we're going to repeat almost the exact same thing we did down here up here. There'll be a couple slight little changes. Go ahead and pull in your first color. For the Rasta colors, we're using green. So we'll pull our color in and pull up a loop. Get past that fray. Pull up a loop, chain one. We're going to be working half double crochets into this round. I'm going to work my first half double crochet into that same stitch. Oh, except I need to get to the outside, so we're chain one and then turn. And I'm going to work my first half double crochet. Go ahead and work it right back into that same stitch since we're on this new color here. Okay. Go ahead and work my next couple just to get me away from my little tails. And now for round 15. Alright, so for this round 15, we're going to be working 4 decreases total for this round, and they're all going to be along the back. So you'll work, and then you will slip stitch together. Don't complete your slip stitch. We will be changing color. And again, and then for this round, since we are working into our half double crochet, or anytime we work a half double crochet round, we will make sure we have our right side facing out. So we turned before, but this time we will not. And once again, we are going to be working into our back loop. So catch your back loop of the previous round's half double crochet. Okay, so here I am coming up on the end of round 18. So I'm just going to slip stitch into this first half double crochet to close my round. And we can go ahead and fasten off all of our colors here. Oh, I keep missing a loop. Now we need to place a couple of stitch markers, one on each side stitch. So you want to come to the side and then come back one and place a stitch marker. And we're going to do that on the other side. On the side, we're going to cut the one that's closest to you. Now let's count. Alright, so I have 36 stitches in between here. Alright, so this is the back of the garment where the seam is, and you just want to have it laying flat. You don't necessarily need to be centering your stitches between your seam. However your seam is lying with it flat, just go into these stitches that we marked that are halfway, but the ones closer to you. And then if you're right-handed, you'll be starting over here on this left side, but I'm right-handed, but I'm left-handed, so I'm starting over here. And once again, we are working into our half double crochet round, and so we will be working into that back loop. So we're just going to be pulling up our next color, which for me is yellow. And so now we're going to be working on the bib portion of our romper, and into this rear loop is where we're going to pull up our loop for our new color and work chain 1, and then yarn over and work your half double crochet right back into that same stitch. We're going to work our way to the other stitch marker, and once you chain 1 into this very first back loop, you're just going to do a single crochet and then yarn over, and into the next one we'll begin our half double crochets. So you're going to do 52 half double crochet. If you're working a different size, then refer to the pattern how many across for your bib here. But for size 3 to 6 month we are doing 52. So we'll end one stitch short, and then well, that should get us right to our stitch marker, and then the stitch with the stitch marker will be a single crochet. So I'm just going to work my way over with my half double crochets. See, this next stitch is supposed to be the one with my stitch marker. Kind of got it into 2. So this very last one, stitch number, this is our 54th stitch, but after our 52 half double crochet, one more single crochet. When you reach the end of your round, you're going to want to fasten off. And we're going to start back over here. We always want to keep the right side facing toward us when we are working our half double crochet. We're going to insert our hook into the second stitch, so ignore this first stitch and into the second stitch. You can remove your stitch marker now, we don't need it anymore. Into the second stitch, into that back loop. So we're going to go over our first half double crochet, so into our rear loop of our first half double crochet, insert your hook, leave yourself a little tail to weave in, and go ahead and chain 1, and then just work a single crochet into that, and then into this next half double or into the next one. Now we are going to work 50 half double crochet across, and then that very last, over the very last half double crochet on the other end before we reach the single crochet. So we'll end one stitch early, and that's where we'll place our single crochet. Alright, so once you get to your last half double crochet, which will be your last rear loop here, then you'll just work a single crochet and fasten off. So for the next 2 rows, you're going to continue to just insert into your first half double crochet and work that single crochet up until your last half double crochet, work that single crochet. So now for the round 6, and we're going to go up to round 10, we are going to insert into right above our first half double crochet, but rather than working a single crochet first, we are just going to go directly into our half double crochet now, and you're going to work 44 half double crochet across for rounds 6 through 10. So just make sure you're alternating your colors, and rounds 6 through 10 are just 44 half double crochet. Nothing fancy. Oh, into our rear loop. I guess that might be fancy. Alright, so yep, nothing fancy, no more little decreases on the edges here, no more single crochets. You're just going to work half double crochet stitches, 44 across up through round 10 or row 10. So I will meet you back here at the end of row 10. You should be ending on a green or whatever your border colors has been. One more time, we're going to be working into our back rear loop, and pull up a loop with your main color, chain 1, go right back into that stitch, and work a single crochet. And then you're just going to work a single crochet all the way across into the rear loop. Once you've worked your 38 single crochet, just go ahead and chain one and turn. And we are back to turning now that we're not working into our half double crochet. And now on these single crochet, across the single crochet, we're going to continue to work in single crochet, but we're going to change our single crochet a bit. So when we go in here and insert our hook, instead of yarning over, pulling through, we're going to yarn under and pull through, and then just yarn over and pull through your 2 loops like normal. So insert your hook into that stitch. Instead of yarning over, you're going to hook over, yarn under, and then yarn over and pull through like normal. So we're just changing it up a little bit. So insert your hook, hook over and yarn under, and then pull through both loops. And so for the next, hook over, yarn under, and then pull through both loops. Alright, so for this row 12 through 16, you will continue your yarn under and then yarn over, pull through both loops, and do that with your single crochet for rows 12 through 16. I'll meet you back here at the end of row 16 and show you what to do next. But yeah, you just want to make it, whether it's easier for you to remember, yarn under or hook over, whichever one's easier for you. And then you just finish that single crochet like normal. Okay, once you have worked to round 16, or to rows, once you've worked up to row 16, then we are going to place a stitch marker right here. And we're going to go ahead and weave in all of our ends. Because then the final thing to do is just to crochet our border and our straps. So we'll go ahead and weave all of our ends in and get all of our ends taken care of now and get it over with, and then there will just be a couple more to weave in at the very end. But this way we can just crochet without worrying about these ends, and I rather weave them in than tuck them in and crochet over them. It just looks neater in the end. So it is worth taking the time to just simply weave in your ends, and you just want to make sure that you're taking it back. Weave one direction, and then as long as you then reverse and go back, then it tends to hold a little more securely and not come out. So you'll just go end by end, get them all weaved in, and I'll meet you back here for the border. Alright, I apologize for the sun shining in. It's the time of day I try not to film. Once you weave in your ends, we can actually go ahead and fasten this off too. Should have fastened this off and woven this in as well. I apologize. Okay, so now we want to place our straps, and we want to make sure that they're centered. If you're right-handed, you will be starting on this side and working this way. If you're left-handed, you'll be starting on this side. So since I'm left-handed, right-handers work opposite me. So beginning right where my bib starts to go up, I'm going to count in 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 stitches. Then I'm going to draw up a loop with my green, and we're going to go through the whole stitch right here for our strap, just for security, rather than just going through one loop so our straps don't pull on anything or come off, get torn off. Once you pull up a loop, then go ahead and we are going to chain 1, 2, 3. Once you have chained 51, beginning in the first loop from your hook, you are going to work 50 single crochet back down to your romper across your chain. So just work your 50 single crochet back down to your romper, and I'll meet you back down and show you how to start row 2 of your strap. And I'm just putting my last single crochet in, number 50. And we want to make sure the romper's facing the right way, facing down, and you're going to slip stitch right back into that stitch that you joined into. And then you're going to come slip stitch to the next stitch, pull up a loop, don't complete your slip stitch, pull in your new color, chain 1 and turn. We're just turning up the strap. Now you'll just work 50 single crochet back up your strap. Regular single crochet. So just 1 single crochet in every stitch that you made. And chain 1 and turn. And here we're working into the middle of our strap. So we're gonna work for creating our little buttonholes here. So we'll go ahead and work 3 single crochet. And we have to make sure we're leaving enough room for our buttons. So chain 3. Skip 3. 3 single crochet. Make sure our button fits. In case we have to make any adjustments. No, it fits through. And then chain 3. And then just single crochet your way the remainder. 1 single crochet into each stitch until you reach the main body of the romper. I just want to make sure and note for you, you can use any size button you'd like there. You just want to do the same thing I did. If your button's smaller, chain 2, test your button, make sure it fits through. You want it to fit through snug though, you don't want it to fit through super loose because you don't want it to fall off the buttonholes. You want it to be nice and secure on the child. So just if your buttons are larger and you're making a larger one, then chain 4, maybe even 5, and test your button. But you can use any size button that you'd like. Alright, once you reach the end, you are going to slip stitch. Alright, so we'll cut this red off. So now you want to make sure, if you're right-handed, you'll be starting this strap, you would go into the 14th stitch from the left to begin, if you're working this way. Otherwise, from here, you'll go into the 10th stitch. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. You would begin right here. Since I'm a lefty, I will go 11, 12, 13, 14, and go 4 stitches further so that our straps are centered. And then you will simply duplicate your strap exactly like you did on the other side. And so I will meet you back here once that strap is finished. After I finish my strap, I'll show you how to do the finishing trim. Alright, once you have worked both of your straps in place, you will want to weave in your strap ends. And then once you have your ends woven in, we are going to do 1 round of slip stitch right across the edge of our bib. So we're going to insert our hook. Right-handed, you will start up on this side instead, or actually down on this end on the other side. You'll start over here and work your way up. That'll be easier. And so we are going to come right into this first green stitch on the side and pull up a loop. And now we are just going to be slip stitching through the edge. And so we're going to just catch this first stitch here, pull up, and slip stitch. And we're going to do that all the way across. And so just going through the side, work your way up, and work a slip stitch. You'll want to work 1 slip stitch into one color, and then a couple slip stitches into the next. Just do whatever kind of looks even to place your stitches up the side. It's okay if you end up getting 2 into multiple sides. The green is a little smaller, but you want to just work a slip stitch up the edge. And then once you slip stitch your way into the top, then you'll just place 1 slip stitch into the side of each row. Once you slip stitch into this last curve, then we are going to switch and begin to single crochet. Place 1 single crochet into that same one that you worked that last slip stitch, and then simply single crochet your way across. And I am yarning under across this top here. Alright, once you work your way across, then when you get to the side, work 1 single crochet and then begin to do your slip stitches. And we will slip stitch our way back down the other side. Okay, now I've made it down to the end where I first would have slip stitched into on the other side, and so now we are going to chain 1, yarn over, and pull up that back loop again of our half double crochet. Oops, not yarn over. Just gonna work single crochets here, just regular single crochets, but into our rear loop here across these half double crochet stitches. So now we are just doing our finishing edge. And you're just going to work a single crochet as normal. When you get to a corner here, you are going to want to single crochet 2 together. So I'm actually going to come back. Anytime you're in an inner corner, single crochet 2 together to work your way over to the side. Uh-oh, looks like the baby might be up. Once you single crochet 2 together, just continue to single crochet your way up the side. I'm on my foundation chain side, so I'm just working into each chain loop. And my baby just woke up, so you'll just continue to single crochet all the way around until you get back to right here. And I'll meet you back here. Okay, so I wanted to hop back on here and point out, anytime you get to an outer corner, you're going to do the opposite of these inner corners. So anytime you're at an inner corner, you will single crochet 2 together and do a decrease. Anytime you're on an outer edge, outer corner, you're going to work 3 single crochet into that corner stitch to work around the edge before you continue along. And remember, it's much less about any kind of stitch count and more about what just feels right for you, what looks right. But anytime you are at an outer corner, work 3 single crochet all into that same stitch to work your way around the corner before you continue along. And then again at those inner corners, single crochet 2 together. And so I'll meet you back once we've worked our way all the way around. I also want to point out that anytime you're working over a half double crochet stitch, to make sure you're working into the rear loop, not the back loop, but the rear loop, that 3rd loop in the back, so that you still see your full stitch. And then as I come up on my slip stitches, again, this is in like an inner corner, so I'm going to want to single crochet 2 together. But since I have my slip stitches here, I'm going to begin to go through my slip stitch. And over your slip stitches, since we've already worked over this edge, this will give us a cleaner finish. You will single crochet across your slip stitches. And then just continue all the way around. Once you have worked all the way around, slip stitched back into that original stitch and fastened off, and all I gotta do is weave in that end and sew on our buttons. I won't make you watch me weave in my end. I think that's boring. And you don't have to watch me sew on my buttons either if you don't want to. But I love to see the finishing touches go on. It's the funnest part. And then next we will make our little Rasta beanie, little Rasta slouchy beanie. And with this bamboo yarn, it is absolutely perfect for summer because it's nice and cool. So usually we'll just go around a few times. And then all I do is then tie a knot in the back and then weave my ends in just like I normally would. Oh, there's the baby. So repeat that with your other button and you are finished.